live on 2K Sports, bringing you the NBA. With Doris Berg, Greg Anthony, and Hall of Famer David Aldridge, I'm Kevin Harlan. And our special guest at the broadcast table for this one, the celebrated Shams Charania. Hey, Shams, thanks so much for joining us tonight. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Kevin, thanks so much. Always fun to hang out with you and all your crew and talk basketball.
All right, I've told Doris and Greg and David, just buckle up because we are going to be on a great ride with you. And the starting lineup for the Timberwolves. Edwards on the wing. He's joined by McDaniel. Rudy Gobert is out there with Randall, and it's Conley in at the point. And for Chicago, Levine and Williams up in the forward positions. The guard set is Giddey and White, and it's Vucevic in at the center, locking down the middle. A shot for the Bulls. The overall approach has seemed to be steady as she goes, stay in our lane, business as usual. But do you think that'll continue?
And business has been good, Kevin. One of the best attendance rates in the league. But listen, this is a Bulls organization that has to figure out its right direction and see how they can continue to build and find a way to build from the ground up and reach new heights, whether it is going a more rebuilding route, a more in the middle route, versus going and really taking big swings. I think this is an organization that is very much trying to find their direction.
Oh, you're kind of setting the table. A lot could happen with this team. Good stuff. And so White will bring it up for the Bulls. This is their first chance to take a look at the Timberwolves this season.
Yeah, this is a great rivalry, guys. I mean, even though they're in opposite conferences, you look back and these teams have a lot of history.
Just 5 on the clock. Giddey against Edwards. And Giddey gets it to go.
May not be Josh Giddey's first instinct, but boy, he can flat score the basketball.
Well, the latest CBA introducing the second apron, limiting Shams what teams above the cap can do. How does that new rule affect teams?
Decision makers tell me that they're very much keeping an eye on the second apron, not only of their team, but others, and teams that will have to shed salary because of the second apron and the amount of big contracts we're going to see teams give to players. You're going to see it at the top, but that may dwindle in the middle of their roster. But we will see a more competitive league because of these new CBA changes and less of a chance of super teams and just more parity and dispersed talent.
Do you constantly read over some of these CBA agreements? I would assume that you do, to have a full understanding of terms like the apron, like we just talked about, or all the other things, the luxury tax, all the things that make deals possible.
It's one thing to have luxury tax. It's a whole nother animal now to have the second apron. And that, certainly for teams that are deep in the second apron, that limits their ability to go make major trades, to be able to sign players for more than the minimum. And we're seeing that happen to at least one or two teams around the league right now. So how will that impact things? But certainly the CBA being 50, 60, 70 pages, that's something you pour through before every calendar year.
It is just fascinating. And Edwards slams it in.
Goodness, Anthony Edwards, always on the attack. This guy is just so dynamic.
Shams, we know you grew up in Chicago. I'm assuming you grew up a Bulls fan. Who didn't? And you had to have a favorite player growing up with those terrific teams.
I was a big-time fan of hoops in general. Definitely someone for me was Kobe Bryant. That someone wasn't a Bulls player. We almost got him one year, but that was someone I grew up watching. Kevin, did you have a favorite team or player growing up?
Well, I love Kobe. I called every season of LeBron and every season of Kobe Bryant, and Bryant actually did stuff for 2K. As you know, not too long ago, before his passing, we sat down for a couple hours, but I hate to rank them because Kobe, Jordan, and LeBron are all right there at the very, very top. Hard to beat Jordan, right?
Very hard to beat Jordan. Obviously, the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Kobe.
Oh, Anthony Edwards thinks this game is a dunk contest. Go ahead, young sir. What a finish.
And great camera work showing up on the AT&T 5G Slam Cam. And here's White. He'll bring it up for the Bulls. And Shams, I've always wondered, watching you, reading you, when did you first fall in love with the NBA? And when did you decide to cover it?
Really, when I was around 10, 11 years old, I grew up in Chicago right as the Bulls dynasty was starting. I wasn't quite old enough, but I was old enough to see some of those scrappy Bulls teams in the mid-2000s. And basketball was always a part of the national discourse, but also part of my life playing it, and then now being someone that's able to inform the audience and the public.
You know what? I'm looking up and down this table. I think we all feel the exact same way. Edwards, good.
Well, don't think twice. Ball touches your hands, you let it go, Anthony Edwards.
Pass to Williams. Gobert pulls it in.
Boy, that's one he wishes he could have back, especially against soft defense.
Conley kicks to Gobert. Edwards looking it over. Over White. And the basket by Edwards. Edwards got 8 points.
This guy is cooking right now. He is leading them on the offensive end as they remain in front here.
Giddey against McDaniel. Giddey, no good. Outside Edwards. McDaniels finds Edwards. Gobert with a screen for Edwards. Can't get the bucket from 20 feet out. Bulls trail by 3. It's a 4-second differential between the shot clock and game clock. A slam dunk by Vucevic.
Vucevic knows who he is. This guy is a close scorer, legit threat to finish it with authority.
Pass to McDaniels. Over in the corner, Edwards. And finished off by Edwards.
And how about just floating to the rim on that slam?
Boy, when he gets up, he gets up. The Timberwolves have been perfect at the line so far, albeit just 2 for 2.
And just to mention, a season ago, they were very comfortable at the line, hitting about 78% of their free throws.
5 seconds left here in the opening quarter. Smith outside. The 3. Anthony Edwards has been leading the charge for the Minnesota Timberwolves. He comes away with 11 points in the quarter and is showing no signs of fatigue. We've got more in store for you right after this. And hope you've enjoyed the broadcast so far. Halfway through the first half in this one. And a moment to look at the scoring approach in terms of where the points are coming from for the Timberwolves.
These guys have been so quick off the dribble, finding great lanes to attack and getting themselves to the basket.
Yeah, and their assertiveness in the paint so far tonight has been impactful. They're really making it hard for the interior defense.
Williams is out there with Jalen Smith. Then it's Buzelis. Then there's Dosunmu, and it's Carter in at the 1 spot. That's the group for the Chicago Bulls to start the second quarter. And Shams, we know you are so connected and on top of so many great stories and players and trends in the NBA. I have to ask, what is your like I'm talking to my teenage daughter. What is your screen time like? You've got to be in front of that computer and clearly in front of your phone every minute, or at least most every minute of every hour of every day.
It's not as high as it needs to be, Kevin, I'll tell you that much. And thankfully, it's not always like that, but certainly at the biggest times of the year, free agency, draft, trade deadline, it is certainly up there, almost in the 19 to 20 range. Kevin, what's your screen time? I feel like you might have a high screen time. You want to be plugged in. I know it.
I take 2 months off in the summer, but for those 10 months, it's 7 days a week, a lot like you. But I know how much happens in the offseason. That's my interest in sitting next to you here courtside tonight, is that you're watching this game, but your mind is always thinking about this and that, and it never ends. You must not get much sleep. You cannot get much sleep, right? My goodness.
We do get sleep, but your offseason is my season, Kevin, and I want to make sure as we get this season going, I'm able to inform you.
And you always do. You always do. And with an update from the sidelines, let's check in with David Aldridge.
Hey, Kevin. Bulls coach Billy Donovan keeps perspective. He says, I used to come back from a tough road loss, go straight to the office and pull an all-nighter, trying to figure out what went wrong. My highs were too high and my lows were too low. You have to realize so much of it is just luck, the breaks of life. Kevin?
That's right, D.A. We respect Billy Donovan as much as any coach in the NBA. but a good outlook there. You're right. Hey, thank you.
Well, Anthony Edwards came into the league with a reputation as a scorer. He is starting to hum a little bit right here.
And you look at the way the league is moving now, Shams, are there less big trades than when you started or more?
Perhaps a little bit less, but listen, the league is trying to keep parity in this league and allow teams to be able to keep their homegrown stars. There's always going to be plenty of interest, and that level of interest, not only from players from competing teams, but fans' interest, it's never been higher.
And there's never any hesitancy, right? If a team feels they can get better, for whatever reason and however they do it, I don't think there's any hesitancy to pulling the trigger.
Particularly when you're on the cusp of potentially winning a championship or competing, whether it's competing for playoffs, competing for a title. If you can make one move that takes you from point A to point B, teams and general managers want to do it.
Well said. Bulls making a switch here. Terry's checked in. Minnesota also making some changes. Gobert, he's checked in for Joe Ingles. And Mike Conley subbed in for Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Carter. A rebound by the Timberwolves. They defeated Charlotte in their last game.
I thought they had a solid game plan coming into that one, and then they made good adjustments along the way.
I thought their game plan was really spot on, and we saw that in their scoring more than anything else.
Oh, inflicting some punishment with the two-hand flush.
They're going for the throat. Edwards against Terry. Carter outside. Now here's Dosunmu. D right on him. Off the mark. His first miss of the game. 1 for 2. DiVincenzo passes to Gobert. And there's a minute 45 left to play here in the second quarter. And finished off by Gobert.
And this offense is in a perfect rhythm, and you can see how they're finishing their play.
Well, what great game planning, what great execution. It doesn't get much better than this.
About that one, and the Minnesota lead has been cut down now to just 10 points with that basket from Carter.
Yeah, and there it is again. On a lot of their possessions this first half, they've established great inside position.
So Chicago ends up going with the new group. Randall's checked in for Minnesota. McDaniels comes in for Edwards. And Shams, what an absolute delight it has been having you courtside with all of us tonight. Thank you so much for taking time to join us. It has been a true pleasure.
Thanks so much for the invite. I can't wait to do it again sometime. I'm honored. I'm privileged.
Oh, we are going to hold you to that. Thank you again. Oh, wasn't that wonderful? Easy to see why Shams has so many sources around the game. He's so easy to talk to.
Yeah, it's all about relationships at the end of the day. When the conversations come easily, that suits his purpose as a reporter.
Minnesota leading by 10. Conley kicks to Randall. And Randall throws it down.
Well, if the basket is within reach, Julius Randle understands how to finish.
Chicago is gone 1 of 2 on three-pointers here in the second quarter so far. Giddey, and he drops in the layup off the glass. Giddey's got 8.
You know, if you're only looking at the way he's played offensively, you'd think his team would have the lead.
Picked by Randall. To the inside. And Randall throws it down.
So experienced, so savvy at pick-and-roll play. Conley putting on a clinic.
We've got 22 seconds left in the first half. Levine against Gobert. And 2 free throws coming up. Unable to get that one to go with all the contact. The Bulls shooting their first free throws. First trip to the line in this one.
Yeah, and 79% from the line as a team a season ago. Pretty reliable in that regard.
Zach LaVine, explosive with athleticism, with his hops, with his ability to score the basketball.
Off on that one, so he goes 1 for 2 at the line. To the left side wing. Pass to Gobert. Gobert with a screen on Giddey. And that does it for the first half of play. Timberwolves lead by 11. It's time now to go courtside as we send you over to David Aldridge from the sideline. David, take it away.
Thanks very much, Billy. I heard you tell the guys to take it to them and play with more physicality offensively. What did you mean?
Well, just I think when we're getting the ball inside around the basket, at times we got to go up a little bit stronger and play through the contact and go to the rim.
Tough sledding in there, but we got to get there. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. Back to you.
All right, David, thank you. And stay with us, folks. We'll be back just after halftime to get the third quarter started.
Hey folks, happy you joined us. The action tonight, a bit wild and a big deficit now for the Chicago Bulls.
It's not a huge deficit on the boards, but enough to where they're giving away possessions, and that adds up, guys.
Yeah, if they're planning a comeback, better rebounding is where they need to start.
And looking ahead, here's what's to come later on tonight in the NBA. The Jazz will square off against the Bucks out in Milwaukee. That one gets started at 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
You know what we call that matchup, Ernie?
And that is a wrap. Now let's send you back to Kevin Harlan for the start of the third quarter.
And after a very lopsided first half, we'll see if things play out a little more evenly here in the second. You know, Anthony Edwards has been exceptional here, guys.
He had a fast pass to the lane that first half, got inside on demand.
Now, this guy is such a good finisher on the move, and so far the defense has not been able to counter it.
On the court for Minnesota, Conley and Edwards are the guards. Randall out there with Gobert, and it's McDaniels in at the 3 slot. No coverage that time. Edwards got the lead up to 13 now for the Timberwolves. You hear, Doris, people now calling Anthony Edwards one of the faces of the NBA. I'm assuming you'd agree.
100% agree, because the skills are extraordinary. The development in his decision-making has gone leaps and bounds from where it was. Beyond that, Kevin, he's a lockdown defender, one of the best competitors, fearless in the big moments, and one of the most charismatic young men in the league today. This guy is spectacular.
With a short break in the action, gives us a chance now to send it over to David Aldridge.
Kevin, Mike Conley's leadership is huge for the Wolves. Rudy Gobert says his presence on the court, but especially in the locker room, is invaluable. Coach Chris Finch said he's given us everything and more. Conley says to have this kind of trust from everyone is why I'm here. This is what I'm supposed to do. Kevin?
He is a class act. David, thanks.
Well, Nikola Vucevic can score against excellent defense. That is a good finish in close.
Conley with it. He has 6. Edwards inside. Light covering. Edwards' shot is good. Edwards got 22.
Terrific play call to give him a clean look at the rim. That's how you want to start the second half.
Well, there is nothing better than catching a rhythm as early as possible. And boy, that's a terrific start right there.
Right around a minute and a half played here in the third quarter. Here's Giddey. He's got 8. Outside, White. Williams sets a screen for White. Clock at 6. Chicago needs to get off a shot here. It's stolen by Gobert. Edwards passes to McDaniels. Nice ball movement by Minnesota. It's stolen by White. Fast break, here they come. Here's Giddey. Makes the bucket. Now he's got 5 field goals, 5 for 8 in the game. Doris, it's great to see the excitement that surrounds women's basketball currently, isn't it?
It's great, Kevin, that these incredible players with a high skill level are being acknowledged, not only for that skill, but the quality of play, the competitive spirit of these women. They have worked as hard, and they should get as much recognition. Guys, I think Anthony Edwards has got all the makings of not only a star in this league, but a superstar. Big frame, can score it, can board it, can handle it. Put him in any position on the floor, this guy can be successful.
Dante DiVincenzo, he's checked in for McDaniel. Giddy, no good.
And battling hard on the glass, they hold the advantage here so far.
Pass to Randall. Here is Edwards. Shot clock at 6. And foul on the shot. He'll shoot 2 at the free throw line. It's on Zach LaVine.
Well, size and athleticism and a little bit of craftiness right there by Anthony Edwards. That up fake gets that defender committed, and the free throw line opportunity is coming.
Chicago making some changes. Buzelis comes in for LaVine, and it's Dosunmu in for Josh Giddey.
And that's the norm for him. He's pretty much automatic when he's at the line.
Vucevic finds Dosunmu. And the foul called on Edwards. And that'll be his 3rd foul so far. Jalen Smith, he's checked in for Williams.
Second team foul. Coming onto the floor for your Bulls, number 7, Jalen Smith.
Here's Vucevic. 7 points in the game. White looking around. Just 5 to shoot. And White with the stop.
And at 6'5", White more than capable athletically, like the aggressiveness there.
Hey, Greg, Kobe White has proven he can run the show.
Yeah, well, he's more than just a scorer. He's become a quality playmaker with better decision-making. But his biggest improvement has been his efficiency.
Just over 3.5 minutes through the 3rd quarter of play now. The wide open look here for Vucevic. No good on the 3.
He is too good a shooter, guys, to be left open like that. The defense just dodged a bullet there.
Here's Edwards. The muscle from Edwards.
I think his teammates understand that Anthony Edwards has every aspect of his offensive game working, so let's make sure he's got the basketball.
And Billy Donovan decides to call timeout. He wants to check in with his team and regroup. Terry's checked in for the Bulls. And then for Minnesota, Naz Reid, he's checked in for Gobert. Joe Ingles comes in for Edwards. And Nickeil Alexander-Walker in for Mike Conley. And with that shot, the Timberwolves lead is cut to just 11 points in the basket from Dosunmu. The Timberwolves have gotten 4 of their first 5 second-half shots to fall, 80% since the break. DiVincenzo kicks to Ingles. Back to DiVincenzo. Ingles with the screen for Randall. Buzelis grabs the board. Well, Chicago has gone 1 of 2 from beyond the arc since coming out of the break. Pass to Terry, a 3-ball. Randall grabs the board. Timberwolves leading by 11. Shot clock and game clock separated by less than 6 seconds. Reid finds Randall. And Randall throws it down.
And haven't we seen that a few times today, guys? I mean, their defense has got to have a little bit more toughness about it.
Outside, White. Smith with a screen on Ingles. Here's White, and it's Chicago scoring again.
This guy reads situations so well, and he knows how to execute.
And here at the end of the 3rd quarter, it's a double-digit ball game. The Timberwolves on top. They're up by 11. Don't go anywhere. The final quarter is coming up next on 2K Sports. And now we have a moment to reveal our State Farm assist of the game.
And how about the floor generalship right here? I mean, showing us why they're always in good hands when he's the man in charge.
Well, this is exactly what you're looking for from your point guard. Survey the floor, serve it up on time and on target.
And there have been 2 very different performances from these teams today as we get going in quarter number 4. Terry is out there with Buzelis. Then there's Carter. Then it's Jalen Smith. And it's Dosunmu in at the 2 guard. So that's the 5 in the game for Chicago. Carter against Edwards. Now here is Carter. Defense is right there. Buzelis' shot is good.
Buzelis showing a little bit of everything with that quick release.
Outside Edwards. Edwards loves it in there.
And they're beginning to just flat out fall apart defensively right now, especially on the interior.
Down low. Here's Buzelis. No good there, and that would have cut it to single digits.
And they've got a big lead, not just on the scoreboard, but really in the rebounding numbers as well.
Edwards shooting fearlessly from the arc.
Every aspect of Anthony Edwards' game is on display. This guy has been cooking from the outset.
And Billy Donovan decides to call timeout. It's a chance for them to regroup and refocus. The Bulls making a switch here. Horton Tucker's checked in. Minnesota also making some changes. Minot's checked in, and it's Mike Conley in for Nickeil Alexander-Walker. And the latest now from our sideline reporter, David Aldridge. David, it's all yours. Take it away.
Well, during the break, I listened in on Billy Donovan's huddle with his team. His emphasis was for more effort on the defensive end. He said, we have to do a better job of communicating and helping each other out. They're getting too many easy looks. Let's make it hard on them. Kevin, they're going to have to if they're going to slow down the hot shooting of their opponent.
Thanks, David. 6 on the shot clock. Reed kicks to Edwards. And the shot goes in. Edwards got 39.
Well, we know this about Anthony Edwards. This guy, one of the stronger guards in this game. That's a tough finish.
Horton Tucker, the pass to Dosunmu. To halt the run. Yep, it counts.
Wow, what a pass there. He made that a very easy basket with that setup.
Outside Conley. Going inside. Pass to Minot. And that one falls coming off Conley's feet. Conley's got 6 assists here tonight.
And this offense is in a perfect rhythm, and you can see how they're finishing their plays.
Well, what great game planning, what great execution. It doesn't get much better than this.
Here's Vucevic. Giddey kicks to Williams. Outside White. Vucevic setting the pick for White. Shoots over DiVincenzo. And it's White missing.
Listen, he can make that shot right there, but I do know they have other options they can go to.
Pass to Minot. Launches a 3. Chicago grabs the miss. In transition, here come the Bulls. Here's Levine, and then Levine with the jam.
Well, multiple-time winner of the slam dunk contest, Levine has got a creative streak.
And so Chris Finch calls for the timeout. And clearly an important juncture. He's going to have some choice words with his team. And now, a moment to present the New Balance Player of the Game, Anthony Edwards.
And his performance has been a jaw-dropper. He must have been feeling great coming into the building tonight, because once he hit the court, it was all working for him. He was in a zone.
And as the star of this team, he knows he's going to be the object of the crowd's anger.
This guy, a strong rebounder who uses his frame well. Vucevic has a knack for being in the right spot.
Levine against Edwards. Vucevic with the rebound. Vucevic has got 4 rebounds in this game.
And tonight's battle is going to end with a very clear winner, leaving nothing to chance. Impressive win for Minnesota.
We got to see a display of offensive prowess in this one that got it done. High-scoring game.
Bucket after bucket. They were really in attack mode all game long.
And it'll mark their 4th win on the year. Actually, their 5th win on the year.
And so they'll take the first game of the season series, a team they'll only see twice, they're certainly happy to start it off with a win.
And what a tremendous standout performance it was for Anthony Edwards.
What a relentless scoring night for this guy, in attack mode all evening.
Randall against Williams. Randall is doubled. Conley with a wide open look from outside off the mark. Here's White. Shooting foul as the whistle blows. He'll shoot 2 free throws. And when you talk to people about the Bulls, GA, Michael Jordan's shadow still looms large over this team and organization.
And Kevin, they haven't won a championship before or since he was in Chicago. They've had plenty of good players, Derrick Rose and MVP, Jimmy Butler as well, but the results haven't been there.
Well, defensively, Doris, these Minnesota Timberwolves are really a cut above the rest.
They led the league in defensive rating in 2024. They have so many ways to shut down what you're trying to do offensively. Length, athleticism, rim protection, commitment, and great scheme. They are a nightmare.
And so White will bring it up for the Bulls. 11-point game. 2 seconds separating the shot clock and game clock. Gobert finds McDaniels. Here's Edwards. Hits the target from 18 feet. Edwards got 45 points.
And it's really good to see Edwards knock down the mid-range jumper. He continues to work on becoming more consistent from that area.
And so it's the Timberwolves taking care of business here. And in the win, a comfortable win in what was, I think, a pretty hostile environment.
It really was. You know, it's never going to be easy on the road, but they didn't have too many problems with that tonight.
And a chance now to send it over to David Aldridge, standing by courtside. David.
Thanks very much, Mike. Congrats on the win. It looked like you guys stayed with your identity tonight. You think so?
Yeah, we wanted to just play our game, stick to what we do best, get the ball inside, score in the paint, just try to make easy plays. And I think that's what we did, and we're able to just build off of that.
You guys are one of the best teams at staying to what you do. Congrats on the win. Back to you, Kevin.
All right, David, thank you. And that about wraps it up. For Greg Anthony, Doris Burke, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for tuning in. And now, our player of the game, Anthony Edwards.